Let's kick things off with our first piece of news. Joe Rogan not attending UFC 315. This is a big one, as Rogan is an iconic figure in MMA commentary. However, fans at UFC 315 in Montreal will have to do without his presence at the commentary desk. Montreal, known for its MMA history and as the hometown of Georges St-Pierre, will still host the event, but Rogan won't be there. On his podcast, Rogan made a bold statement saying, "I won't be there. I don't go to Canada anymore. I don't. I'd rather go to Russia." This surprised many fans, as Rogan has been a fixture in the UFC booth for years. His absence will surely leave a void for those who enjoy his unique insights, humor, and enthusiasm during major UFC events. Why is Rogan refusing to go to Canada? He hasn't provided many details, leaving fans to wonder whether there's a deeper reason or if it's just a personal choice. Rogan has always been outspoken, but this statement has raised questions. With Rogan absent, the UFC wasted no time finding a replacement. Fans will still get top-tier commentary with Dominic Cruz stepping in. Cruz, a former bantamweight champion and respected analyst, will join Daniel Cormier in the booth. Cormier, a former light heavyweight and heavyweight champion, is known for his insightful commentary. Together with Jon, they'll make sure the broadcast stays exciting and informative. Though Rogan's absence is a hot topic, the UFC has assembled a strong commentary team for UFC 315. While fans will miss Rogan's signature style, Cruz and Cormier will bring their expertise to the table, ensuring the event remains thrilling. UFC 315 may not have Rogan, but it will still be packed with exciting fights and top-notch commentary. Moving on to the second piece of news, Belal Muhammad wants to chase GSP's GOAT status. Muhammad, who has steadily climbed the ranks in the welterweight division, is now setting his sights on one of the biggest goals in MMA, catching up to Georges St-Pierre's legendary status as the greatest of all time, GOAT, in the welterweight class. Muhammad is taking inspiration from GSP's legendary title reign as he prepares for his first welterweight title defense against Jack Deatena this weekend at UFC 315. For Belal, this is more than just another fight. This is his opportunity to continue building his legacy and take a giant step towards solidifying himself as one of the greatest to ever compete in the sport. Belal has expressed his admiration for GSP, acknowledging the surreal experience of fighting in Montreal, the very city where GSP's career was built. "It's surreal," Belal said. "Kind of fighting at GSP Stadium in front of GSP. I'm assuming he's going to be there." This speaks volumes about the respect Belal has for the legendary Canadian fighter and how much this fight means to him personally. He continued, sharing a piece of his history with the sport, saying, "Before I was even in the UFC, I drove all the way down to Montreal, Canada to train at TriStar, hoping GSP would be there. I got to train under Firas Zahabi, pick his mind, pick his brain a little bit, so that was always epic." This moment in Belal's early career clearly shaped his aspirations, and now he finds himself in a position where he's not just fighting for a title, he's fighting to honor the legacy of one of the sport's greatest icons. Muhammad went on to discuss the impact GSP had on him, noting how he's always looked up to the former champion. "It's a guy that's considered the GOAT of your weight class," he said. "Somebody you always look up to. You watch him, you try to mimic him. This admiration is something that clearly fuels his ambitions. So it's going to be cool to fight in his stadium with the belt of his division." Belal added, "His goal is not only to win, but to perform in a way that will make GSP proud. And yeah, I plan on putting on a show for them, the same way GSP always did. I can't wait to do the same thing." As for his opponent, Jack Deatena, Belal recognizes his strengths but remains confident in his own abilities. Jack, obviously great boxing, good hands, good footwork, good scrambling ability. I think he's got a lot of heart. He doesn't have that quit button in him. Belal draws a contrast between Jack and his last opponent, Leon, saying, "I always said Leon had that quit button in him. He was ready to break at some point. Jack doesn't have it. He goes to the end." Belal is adamant that Jack won't be able to handle the pressure he brings to the octagon. "You've never fought anybody like me. I've fought a million guys like him," he declared. "We break down guys to a different level, and I think with Jack, we're gonna do the same exact thing. We're gonna break him down, and then we're gonna break him in the cage." Belal's mentality is clear. His ambition is no longer just about winning titles. It's about surpassing the legends who came before him. Before, it was gold that was the goal, he admitted. Now, gold is the goal. I'm chasing GSP. I'm trying to catch up to him. With that mindset, Belal is focused on continuing his winning streak and proving his doubters wrong. Getting my hand raised and continuing to win and prove the doubters wrong," he said with conviction. "I'd rather have the doubters. I want the doubters. I want the people to tell me that I can't do it so that I can keep proving them wrong." For Belal, every challenge is another opportunity to prove that he belongs among the greatest in MMA history, and UFC 315 could be the stage where he takes another step closer to that dream. Now on to another piece of news. Daniel Cormier wishes he had retired from MMA earlier. The former two-division UFC champion admitted he didn't need those last two fights with Stipe Miocic. In a recent interview, Cormier reflected on his career and the signs he ignored when it came to stepping away from the sport, stating that his decision to continue fighting was driven by his desire to compete rather than necessity. "Listen to not only your body, because your body is going to tell you first," Cormier said. He emphasized the importance of mental signs too, noting that his mind had been telling him it was time to walk away. "Your mind will actually tell you, you know when it's time." Many fighters can relate to this, as the sport demands not just physical toughness but mental resilience. For Cormier, the internal signs were clear, but the temptation to continue competing kept him going. He reflected on how not everyone gets the fairy tale ending like Khabib Nurmagomedov, who retired on top. Not everybody gets what Khabib got. Khabib literally got a fairy tale, Cormier said, acknowledging how rare and special it is to leave the sport on a high note. Cormier's reflection stresses the importance of listening to the signals from both the body and the mind. But listen to what's available, the signs, everything that's pinging at your mind, he advised. For Cormier, those signs were clear. He knew something was wrong when the passion for training and competition began to fade. When you don't love to train anymore, you're probably done. When you don't love the competition or look forward to it anymore, you're probably done, he said. This is a powerful message for all athletes. When the love for the sport starts to disappear, it might be time to step away before it's too late. Reflecting on his final two fights, Cormier admitted, "Honestly, I didn't need to fight that last fight against Stipe. The last two, I didn't need to. I just wanted to fight. It wasn't about necessity. It was the overwhelming desire to compete." He confessed, "I wasn't ready to let go." Financial rewards also played a role, with Cormier acknowledging that there was way too much money at the time. Many athletes face the dilemma of fighting when their desire is fading due to the lure of big paychecks. Looking back, Cormier remembered his last training camp in a garage, a sign that things were changing in his career. "We did a training camp in my garage because they shut down AKA. I should have recognized it then and listened to everything," he said, expressing regret for not recognizing the signs sooner. After his first round TKO loss to Stipe Miocic in their trilogy fight, Cormier reflected on the consequences of ignoring internal warnings. He concluded, "It's a lesson for every fighter," emphasizing that knowing when to step away is a crucial part of being a champion. "It's not just about money or fame. It's about preserving your legacy and well-being." Cormier's story serves as a cautionary tale, reminding fighters to be aware of their physical and mental states and know when it's time to walk away. Next, we have news about a fighter who's not happy with the results of his recent match against Arman Tsarukyan. The lightweight contender Arman Tsarukyan faced off with Makhachev Zenukov in a grappling match on Friday at a karate combat event in Dubai. While Tsarukyan emerged victorious after the judge's decision, Zenukov has made it clear that he does not understand how the match could have been awarded to his opponent, expressing dissatisfaction with the outcome. Arman Tsarukyan, despite his victory, has publicly apologized for how the grappling match unfolded. The #1 UFC lightweight contender admitted that the match didn't live up to the excitement that many fans and analysts had hoped for, conceding that it wasn't a barn burner. In a candid reflection, Tsarukyan acknowledged that both fighters struggled to engage in a way that would have made for an exciting spectacle. On the other hand, Zenukov, who was disappointed with the judge's decision, was quick to share his thoughts on how the match went and how it was scored. Zenukov admitted that the match wasn't exactly thrilling, calling it a snoozer, and agreeing that neither he nor Tsarukyan had done enough to warrant a clear decision. However, Zenukov took issue with the fact that the judges seemed to favor Tsarukyan's performance, despite the lack of significant action from both competitors. He explained his perspective, saying, "To be honest, I thought it was a draw and they would do an extra round to determine the winner. I didn't think they could decide who won based on those two rounds." Zenukov's view seems to suggest that neither fighter showed clear dominance or took enough risks to justify a definitive decision. Instead of declaring a winner based on two uneventful rounds, he felt it would have been more appropriate to have a third round to allow both fighters a final opportunity to prove themselves and settle the contest more fairly. He didn't really do anything either. He was just standing there. Although neither did I, Zenukov added, reflecting the sense that both fighters were cautious in their approach and didn't fully engage in an action-packed battle. Given the lack of significant action, the match left many fans and fighters questioning the decision. The controversy surrounding the judges' scoring has sparked debate among viewers and analysts alike. Many feel that the decision could have gone either way, or that it would have been better to have a third round to avoid the ambiguity of the judges' final verdict. So, what do you think? Did you see the match? Do you agree with Zenukov's assessment that the fight should have gone to an extra round, or do you believe Tsarukyan deserved the win based on the 2 rounds? The controversy over this grappling bout is just another reminder of how subjective judging can be in combat sports, and how important it is for fighters to leave no doubts in the cage. Let us know your thoughts on the match and the judge's decision. Now let's move on to another exciting piece of news. Joe Rogan recently tried to persuade UFC heavyweight champion Jon Jones to face Tom Aspinall in what could be one of the most intriguing matchups in the division. In a recent episode of the Joe Rogan Experience, Rogan discussed the prospect of Jon Jones fighting Aspinall, a fight that would be a significant challenge for the reigning champion due to Aspinall's speed, power, and well-rounded skills. Aspinall, who currently holds the interim heavyweight title, has been gaining a lot of attention for his impressive performances in the cage, and many believe he is one of the biggest threats to Jones's dominance in the division. In the conversation with Rogan, it became clear that Rogan sees this fight as an opportunity for Jones to cement his legacy in the heavyweight division. According to Rogan, defeating Aspinall would not just be another win for Jones, it would solidify his legacy and prove that he is truly the greatest fighter of all time, even as he moves through the heavier weight class. This conversation between Rogan and Jones has fueled the ongoing speculation about a potential matchup between the two fighters. While the fight has not been officially scheduled by the UFC, both fighters have made their feelings known. Aspinall has been vocal about wanting to face Jones, saying that it's the fight that needs to happen. The interim champion believes that a bout with Jones would be the ultimate test of his skills and would elevate his career to new heights. On the other hand, Jon Jones has been relatively silent about the prospect of fighting Aspinall. His lack of public comment on the matter has led to questions surrounding his intentions and whether he is ready to take on the challenge of defending his heavyweight title against the interim champion. While Jones has established himself as one of the greatest of all time, the jump to heavyweight has presented its own set of challenges, and there is speculation about whether he is fully prepared for what Aspinall brings to the table. Despite Jones's silence on the subject, the anticipation surrounding the potential fight is building. Fans and analysts alike are eager to see if Jones will accept the challenge laid out by Aspinall and whether the British fighter can rise to the occasion. Rogan, who is known for his insightful analysis and deep connections in the UFC world, pointed out that while Aspinall has been nothing short of dominant in his performances so far, the world has yet to see if he can handle the pressure of being in a fight where he isn't the one dominating. Rogan remarked, "Aspinall is like, we've only seen him smash. We've never seen him be the nail." This highlights the fact that while Aspinall has been incredibly impressive, he has yet to face a true challenge like Jon Jones, who has been tested in numerous high-pressure situations over the years. Rogan went on to discuss Jones's skill set and his ability to push deep into rounds, even when the fight gets tough. According to Rogan, Jones has been through trials and tribulations in his career, but has consistently shown that his mental fortitude and ability to adapt in the cage are unmatched. Rogan encouraged Jones by saying, "Listen to it, you're still the greatest of all time, and you could show the world." The question now remains, will Jon Jones accept the challenge from Tom Aspinall? Will the UFC make this fight happen soon? Fans are eagerly waiting to see how this will unfold, as the potential fight between these two highly skilled fighters could become one of the most exciting and anticipated bouts in the history of the heavyweight division. And now, moving on to our final news update. KHAMZAT CHIMAEV sends a message to DRICUS DU PLESSIS. The fight between Chimaev and Du Plessis is not yet official, but things are certainly heating up. Recently, Du Plessis' team stated that the matchup is a done deal, and they are simply waiting for the UFC to send over the contract. While nothing is confirmed yet, this potential showdown has generated a lot of buzz, especially given the bold statements coming from both camps. In a recent interview, KHAMZAT CHIMAEV was asked about the comments made by Du Plessis' coach, who stated that they were preparing for a ground war against Chimaev. This comment was clearly aimed at preparing for the grappling heavy style that both fighters are known for. However, However, Chimaev, never one to shy away from trash talk or bold statements, fired back with a response that's sure to send chills down the spine of anyone in the middleweight division. Chimaev said, "Let them prep for war. I'm prepping for murder." That simple line encapsulates Chimaev's mentality heading into a potential fight, showcasing just how intense and violent he intends to be. It also highlights the stark contrast in the fighters' mindsets. While Du Plessis' team is preparing for a tactical, ground-based battle, Chimaev is making it clear that he's not just aiming for a win, but for total dominance. This fiery exchange has only fueled the anticipation for this potential fight. If the bout is officially booked, it promises to be one of the most intense and violent matchups we've seen in the middleweight division in a long time. Both fighters are known for their aggressive fighting styles, and this would undoubtedly be a clash of wills, with Chimaev's ferociousness on full display against Du Plessis' resilience and determination. The middleweight division has seen plenty of drama and excitement in recent years, and this fight could very well be the next big chapter. Fans are eagerly waiting to see if the UFC will make this matchup official, as it has all the makings of a show-stopping contest. With Chimaev's words ringing loud and clear, it's evident that he's ready for whatever Du Plessis and his team bring to the table. The only question now is, will the UFC make this highly anticipated fight a reality? Fans and analysts alike are keeping their fingers crossed for a showdown that could shake the division to its core.